This program contains mature content and may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Weighing my brain, it's weighing my brain, it's weighing my brain. Well, now, under my slang, tell me, under my slang, under my slang, tell me, under me, under my slang, tell me, under my slang, under my slang, tell me, under me, weighing my brain, no cocaine. I don't wanna go insane. Weighing my brain, no cocaine. I don't wanna go insane. And I'm a slang, tell me on, I'm a slang, and I'm a slang, tell me on, I'm me, and I'm a slang, tell me on, I'm a slang, and I'm a slang, tell me on, I'm me, because in my eyes it with lifeblood, and I've been moving around like a human flood. Smoke out of my mouth and out of my nose, I blow it in the air 'cause it must expose. And I'm a slang, tell me on, I'm a slang.
Under my slanting, it's another wet Tuesday evening here on Kenny's Corner. We're coming to you live, Guardian Radio 96.9, Fresh News Smart Talk all day. And we are going to be talking this evening with another male guest, and his views are very different from most that we will ever encounter. He pushes the envelope and he says things that maybe the average listener, the average human being does not want to hear, but knows intrinsically that these are the things that are happening and this is what is true. Now, we're going to talk this evening about emotional intelligence, and we're also going to talk about demasculating your man, because this is a male's perspective, right? And so emotional intelligence is seen as the capacity to be aware of control and express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional successes. Allow me to introduce Mr. Kevin Camp Jr. Kevin, he also sells novelty toys. He's an armed forceman. He's a man of honor. And ladies and gents, if you see him in this room this evening, he looks like an Anglican priest. I mean, he dressed right down. Clergy.
Yeah.
Kevin.
A first impression is the best.
I love this for us. I love this. Thank you to your beautiful wife for allowing you to be here on this wet Tuesday.
Right.
I have many comments. Some persons want to preliminarily ask you some things. So the questions are here. But Kevin, thank you for coming in this evening.
It's always a pleasure to talk to good people, be around good people. I'm big on that. You know,
I love this for us. Now, Kevin, let us get straight into the conversation.
Yep.
Now, tell me what you think the emotional intelligence grade level is in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
0, like F.
F.
Z.
Tell me why. Tell us why.
It's if you look, I'm at Z because it's horrible.
Really?
It's horrible. And until we acknowledge that we have a real problem with emotional intelligence, we're not going to make any progress.
Why do you think we have a problem with emotional intelligence?
Well, it's a systematic issue, but everything, let me say this, the most powerful force in this country is a two-parent home.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I follow you.
That serves a purpose.
Okay.
And when you have a mother trying to be a mother and a father, you're already at a loss. I know we believe in the Bahamas that Father's Day is Mother's Day part 2.
It isn't.
It's not.
Okay.
But it is the least celebrated holiday out of all the other holidays. It's really at the back end of things.
Okay.
But the structure that God created was intended to be that way. Anything else outside of two parents is dysfunction.
So tell me something. Do you think, right? And the text is already coming in hot.
Let them go.
Do you think that even if you're in a two-parent home, and if the parents are not showcasing the love and the support that should be exemplified, that would not create an alternate perception for the child?
It's still dysfunction.
It's still dysfunction.
Two parents in a home and two parents in a home just being in a home, not doing their jobs, it's still dysfunction.
So
it's like, let me say this. It's like God put Adam and Eve in the garden.
yes.
They both had a purpose there.
Yes.
You understand?
I
Name
do.
the animals, nurture, be fruitful, multiply. If Adam didn't name the animals, dysfunction. If Eve is just wondering, she ate the fruit.
Okay.
They're not doing what they're intended to do. So if you got dad, just, well, go ask your mom.
Mm-hmm.
If you got dad just saying, well, I don't know. If you just have a guy that comes home and he's just there, but not doing what fathers were intended to do, that is dysfunction.
Now, how long have you been married?
And this year it'd make 4 years.
Okay. Now, before you got into the whole married life, what was the dating scene like for you? Or what is the dating?
It was trash.
It was trash. Do you think it's still trash?
It's worse now
Why is it worse now?
because the blueprints before us was trash. Like the generations before us, I grew up with my grandparents.
Right.
I grew up with my grandparents. So I'm already at a disadvantage because there's a generational gap between grandparents, parents, Kev. The average behavior is grandparents, single mother, then me.
Okay.
So if mommy just bunch of different boyfriends, you could barely learn their names, and she's known to do things to get bills paid. I'm trying to be nice about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's your example.
Then what else do you live? Do you think that these girls today, right? Now we're talking about emotional intelligence.
Right.
Do you think that the whole new generation of the BBL generation, the whole new generation of the chiclet teeth that look like white chiclets that you
I
chewing gum.
say that, but I always say that your father failed you.
Your father? Why? Why do
Because
you say that?
your father wouldn't. My daughter just turned 4 last week Wednesday. Shout out to Layla, the most happy baby I know. I tell her that you are the most beautiful girl in the world. I tell her that when she's dirty in the yard running up and down. I tell her that before she go to school on the drives. I tell her while I'm helping her with homework. I tell her when I'm getting her ready for school. I tell her she's beautiful. I'm packing her lunches. You notice how I'm telling you that I instill a belief system in her,
Right.
while still doing fatherly duties.
Okay.
But if daddy isn't there to pour into you and protect you, because both parents pour into their children,
Right.
and they still protect, provide, mommy still nurtures, and they still do these things. But if I'm not doing that, she's gonna look for that elsewhere, which is why we got BBLs running the road.
BBLs run. You think BBLs run the road, Kevin?
I think they're in search of beauty that they'll never find.
And the plastic aesthetic is not it.
Or it doesn't fill the void of a lack of character.
Kevin, you come and you hit
You could be as beautiful as you want, but you lack character.
You lack character. Now let me ask. Let's go back to the thing with your daughter. You say you instill in Layla day in and day out. You are beautiful. Daddy loves you.
That's not the only thing I says.
Right, you
But I
show.
want her to know that you don't have to alter what God created you to be to fit with society.
Okay.
And not only do I tell her that she is beautiful, I ask her, do you believe you're beautiful?
Yes.
So she thinks highly of herself,
Let me ask you
the
something.
way she is.
Let me ask you something. Do you think, right, because you've already instilled these things in Layla, you asking her these questions for her self-affirmation, do you think in some instances the fathers don't necessarily do these things, but because the mother wants to keep peace, the mother doesn't necessarily say to the child, listen, your daddy ain't worth salt, but I am still going to do for you. I'm still going to try to uplift you. Do you think in some instances that the mothers themselves shadow the fathers or shield from the fathers?
Yeah. I had my grandma My dad my dad's a horrible father. That's not what I really want to say. But my dad was trash.
Trash?
Yeah. My grandfather's son, my grandmother's black sheep is my dad. And he was he wasn't in my life. My grandparents are my parents.
Your grandparents or your parents?
Yes.
Are they still alive?
My grandparents are still alive. Yes, they are.
Okay, now tell me something, Kevin, because I have some questions coming in, and I need you to answer these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you speak about the BBL Nation on your podcast.
All the time.
But let me ask you something. Do you feel that way because you see the degradation in the system?
I feel that way because naturally Caribbean women are beautiful. Listen to me, wait. We have some of the most beautiful, shapely, sexy, gorgeous women in the world. Shout out to Miss Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get a BBL.
No.
And she stepped on everybody's neck.
She's stepping on necks.
Still. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, like, if women saw themselves the way God sees them, they wouldn't have to make any alterations.
At all.
No, but because it doesn't take you going to school, being educated, to believe that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Why do you think we have so many broken homes? And we had a conversation before we got on air about the cycle repeating itself.
Yeah.
And there's a recent study about the cost of living for a family. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that having multiple children is not the ideal thing. Maybe, do you think maybe we plan to have all of these kids?
We don't plan for nothing.
We don't plan for nothing.
We are just, I'm trying to be nice, but we just choosing.
Okay.
We just casually having sex, and we're not planning to make children. We don't expect to have a child, although it only takes one time. I don't know, maybe Bahamians are different. Maybe we're impervious to it. Maybe it takes 3 times for Bahamians to produce a child.
Right.
But for everybody else, it just takes once.
Okay.
But we don't plan, like, we don't say, okay, this person that I met that I barely know, there's a possibility that this person could be the mother or the father of my child as a result of this act that I'm about to do.
Kevin, we have a caller on the line.
Take him.
Caller, good evening.
Hi to you, my dear. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you? Is this the alpha male?
This the alpha male. You have another great alpha male on this radio. Kevin, how you doing?
Oh, well, man. Oh, well.
Okay, I'm not going to let them gang you tonight. I'm going to be here listening.
I appreciate that. Support is
But
always
the
love,
question
man.
that was asked by our good sister, why do we have so many broken homes?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, let's admit, I am of the belief that when one, and as such as the man, if he is not biblically connected, he already at a loss. Would you agree with that?
I agree. There's no foundation there.
And we have to understand the plan of the enemy, Kevin.
Right?
Why do we have so many broken homes? This is what the sister asks.
Yeah.
And the reason why we have so many broken homes is by 2 principles. The liberalization of the world, and they create a gender war.
Yeah.
And this gender war is coming by the feminists, by the feminist movement, the feminist men, and the liberalization. They want your children, and they play on the emotion of women. Women like things, and they are thingsy. Yes, there's nothing wrong with running after your career, etc. But not forgetting that the children are the most important issue in a relationship or a marriage. So this is a gender war. You got some super spiritual women. Anytime you meet a woman say she married to Jesus, run. That's a hurting, angry woman. She used church as a cover-up. That's a super spiritual, angry woman. Because God did not say that. God said, a man who seeketh a wife seek it a good thing. But Kevin, the liberalization create a gender war to get our children, and this is why we have this social dilemma in the world all over. You check all of Whitney, Career, one of my great famous. What happened? She had a social problem. Her and Bobby. What happened? So is her daughter named Bobby, and that is right here in this country. Gender war, competing against each other in marriage, in a relationship. As a result of that, the children suffer.
Okay.
That's why we have so many broken homes.
Alpha Male, I thank you.
Thank you, my sister.
Thank you. I appreciate your call. I appreciate you listening. I have a text. I'd like to read the text to you. A 2-parent home in the Bahamas is finished. These new women of today only worry about things and all want to be independent, but stay begging for help and don't reciprocate nothing. And yes, dating now is trash. This next text reads, Kenny, it's not trash. It's filled with urine. I know that you can't say the P word on the radio, but it's not trash. It's filled with urine. I'm almost certain that Kevin picked his wife not only for her beauty on the outside, but what was unseen. He picked her because he wanted a better quality of woman for his child if he were ever to have one. Kevin, did you see in your wife accolades or attributes that said to you, hey, this is the woman that I want to have children with?
When I saw my wife, first of all, she's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I was physically attracted to her. That's number one. Mm-hmm. It was at a time when I was actually homeless. Believe it or not, most people don't know that. I was sleeping I had a blue Honda Fit. I still work at the prison. A lot of my colleagues don't know, but I was sleeping at Montague Beach for about 3 weeks.
Man, Kevin, hold on.
Yeah.
Do you think that was trauma building with you and your wife, or you think that
No.
you love?
I'm going somewhere with this.
Take us there.
And me and her had just started talking.
Right.
And I never told her, like, I was homeless. I didn't have a place to live. My grandparents kicked me out. I just told her, like, I like the beach. She's like, you always at the beach? I'm like, yeah. Little did she know that
I live there.
I was in my car, super washers open. I had a towel from Quality Home Center. I'd probably go to work and pack a bag and wipe off deodorant, go about my day. Nobody knew. When I finally mustered the courage to tell my girlfriend at the time that, listen, I don't have any money to afford a place to live. She had a place that I would go to and then I would leave because we wasn't living together. We just literally started talking, and she was like, why are you living at the beach when you could just live here? You always here? For me, normally when women here, first of all, I told her I was broke. I had $41 in the bank, literally. She's like, well, hey, I'm broke too. I ain't got no money to give you, but I can help you and we can make some money together and we can live together and build something together. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, listen, seasons. You might be broke today, but you won't be broke forever.
No.
And that act of kindness, I was dating girls for 7 years, 5 years. That type of love, that was like, boy, I gotta make this guy my wife. Mm. Because if I tell anybody I ain't got no place for us to hang out, I can't afford to take you on a lavish date, my car always on E, I always at the beach, I don't want to go nowhere else, I don't want to be seen, I ain't got no clothes, I only got my uniform that the government gave me, whenever I managed to take with me. You know what I mean?
I understand.
It was like, this guy trying to trick me or something. But something about this woman, I know I ain't gonna find this no place else.
No.
And so while I found her beautiful, her character and her level of love for me, I had to honor that. And that for me was like, I knew she was a wife before I officially made her a wife, which is why it says, he who finds a wife
Findeth a good thing.
It doesn't mean that I went and created my wife.
Right.
She was a wife before I met her. I just found her.
Right.
And I made her my wife.
Yes.
And after I made her my wife, the Bible says you find favor with the Lord. I was like, bro, I made her my wife. I got more money in the bank. I got a job. I got a beautiful daughter. Like, I see the favor that follows finding a good thing.
Kevin, my listening audience, everybody that is within the sound of my voice, it's another wet Tuesday evening. This is Kenny's Corner. It's Guardian Radio, 96.9 Fresh News Smart Talk all day. We are on radio this evening, and we're talking about emotional intelligence from a man's perspective. We will be back.
The full intent of my plan, but baby, I wanna be your sole provider, and baby, I wanna stay that way for the longest time.
You do coffee your way. Double shot decaf, cappuccino.
Light roast, Colombian, no milk.
You do vacations your way.
Hiking boots, tent, mountains.
5-star hotels and theater.
And now you can do insurance your way. Online,
Email.
Chat.
WhatsApp.
or in branch. For home, car, travel, boat, or business insurance, do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit NUAinsurance.com, call, or stop by a branch today.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This program contains mature content and may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Afternoon, good evening. We are back with Kenny's Corner, Guardian 96.9. Fresh news, smart talk all day. It's another wet Tuesday. We are here with the male perspective. We're talking with Kevin Kemp Jr. And we're talking about emotional intelligence. Now, Kevin, you gave us a rundown of how you became so emotionally elite a few moments ago, but I want to get to some of our texts, all right? And they read as follows.
Right.
Kevin, I often listen to your podcast.
Appreciate it.
And in some instances, it seems as if you're bashing women.
Good.
But for me, it's you telling women what they already know but don't want to hear.
Thank you.
This is another text.
I appreciate that.
This is from a woman. This is from another female. This female says, Kevin, I always knew you were different, but I had no idea of your scope of things. You see things from a holistic view. I've never known any of this about you, and I'm one of your followers
I
on
appreciate
TikTok.
that.
Okay.
Love.
This is another text. Kevin, let's talk about the sex toys. How did you get into selling sex toys, but yet are so grounded? I want you to connect the two.
If you fall, this is what I tell people. Social media is a highlight reel. It isn't a holistic perspective of who a person is.
No.
People only put on their parts of their lives, but there are layers to people.
They're layers.
My daughter, to her, she tells the teacher I'm a superhero.
Okay.
To my wife, when we disagree, I'm a nemesis. My wife is my best friend and worst enemy all at the same time. You understand?
I understand. This is another question. Kevin, on every podcast or every other podcast, you mention your wife. Clearly that relationship is sacred to you. What tips can you give us as men about having better communication or having honest communication in a relationship? I am not married. This person says, I am not married.
Yeah, I wasn't always married. So they always tell me, oh, you're married. Still the single people business. Still the single people business. Well, single people always just talk about married people business, so why can't I talk about single people business?
Okay.
I have more experience being single than I have being married.
Because you've been single a lot. Okay. Now tell me something.
But to answer their question, I look at my grandparents. They're married for more than 50 years. Do you think my grandfather was faithful to my Grammy for 50 years straight?
I don't know.
No.
No?
He has outside family.
Oh! How do y'all interact with the outside family?
I don't know them. In my older age, I'm getting to know them. But like I said, I'm a grandchild. That goes before my aunts and my uncles and how they connected. But they look fine to me. But outside of that, to answer the question is, relationships go through seasons. The year has 4 seasons. And not everything is going to be good all the time. Like, your wedding vows aren't just things that you say, things that you read. That's like a covenant between you and God. And you have to truly understand that till death do us part. You have to really internalize that. And I don't encourage people to get married, believe it or not.
Why?
Because I don't find a lot of people ready for marriage.
Are you reading my phone before I ask questions? Please don't read my phone before I ask. Let me ask you this question. This text here reads, Kevin, you talk about being married, but I want you to drop it like you drop it on the podcast. Whoever this is, Kevin cannot curse on this show.
Right. I
want you to drop it like how you drop it on the podcast. Everybody is in marriage material. Some of these women are not what a man would expect. They are very, very materialistic and only want the corn. Mind you, they don't ever take an opportunity to learn men, to find out what I like, what I don't like, but you always want my money. Kevin, tell these women that that are listening that that's prostitution.
Well, I wouldn't say. Let me tell you this. I just asked a lady on Saturday, what is the blueprint that she's leaving behind for her daughter to follow?
Right.
She was like, well, I'm a doctor. So naturally, I'm going to tell her that she has to go to school,
right,
get educated, empower herself, help her husband, build a family together. If you just sleep with men for money, if you just sleep with men for money, that's the blueprint you're leaving for your daughter.
You honestly believe that children or girls see what their mothers do and they follow suit?
My daughter is, if I get angry and I accidentally curse around my daughter, she's like a sponge. I would have to try and, that's a bad word, that's a bad word, that's a bad word. I work at the prison. I have to literally cut off Officer Kev to be Daddy Kev, because I got to be mindful that I have a little daughter who doesn't need firm and testosterone and assertive Kev with her. Her eyes big. Children are always watching and observing. And so as a mother, if the only thing you have to leave is big teeth, lashes, a big bongi and a body, and you just introducing her to a bunch of different men. You getting money, you getting a car, you have a house, and a lot of guys will say, "Oh well, children don't care about how you get these things. They just know that mommy providing." Like they'll try to make up an excuse. What character traits are you instilling in your daughter by just fixating on the physical aspect of her life? What personality will she have? What will her intelligence level be like? What else, if you take away the physical, how does her soul look?
This is another question, Kevin. Kevin, we talk a lot about a woman and men raising boys and women being in a single home. But I have another rationale for you.
Mm-hmm.
I was dating a young lady. I would go over to her home. The house was always a complete mess, absolute filth.
That goes back to what I always say.
Hold on, let me read the rest. But her, I can't say that piece. But her sex was always on point. Her sex was so much on point that sometimes I would fall asleep. But because the house was so filthy, I never really stayed over. I wanted to be a part of her life, but the mere fact that she was so entrenched in dirt didn't do it for me. Sometimes we raise women to be mothers, we raise women to be providers, but who's telling these women how to clean a home?
But that's the blueprint that I'm talking about. My grandmother made me do chores, and I'm a guy. She said, and let me debunk this fiction that women aren't supposed to work. My grandfather was born in 1946. My grandmother was born in 1948. When my grandfather met my grandmother, she was volunteering at PMH, and she was a housekeeper. She was working. My grandfather was a building contractor and a mason in Ministry of Works. He was working. When they got married, he said, "You stay home and you mind the children." But she was working. Now, if you want to go back 50 years from that to where my great-grandparents were, that'll put you at 1858. So you mean to tell me you want to go back to 1858 where women didn't have any voice and men just protected and provide? No, you got to work. The blueprint that I talk about is more than just the upkeep of your physical appearance. Whatever you leave behind, the Bible says, a man leaves an inheritance for his children. I believe that women leave a blueprint for their daughters. And see these texts coming in? My guys, they listening. But I don't want it to be like I'm just talking about bashing women, because I don't want it to be misconstrued.
No.
I want people to know that fathers have an equally important responsibility as mothers do. Nobody's exempt from doing their jobs to fix the issues of the lack of emotional intelligence in this country.
This is another question. Kevin, nobody thinks that you bashing nobody, but I want you to ask, but Kenny, I want you to ask this question. Ask Kevin, me and you lay down. I say to you, I think someone asked this question already. I say to you, I do not want a baby. You decide to have the baby, and now you're asking to take me to court for a baby that I told you that I didn't want. Don't tell me about precautions. I just want to know from you as a man. If I've already said to you, I do not want this child, why is it forced on me?
If you rowing with her about not having a child, you shouldn't be sleeping with her.
But the man say he tell her before this happened.
You shouldn't be juicing no gal if she ain't listening to you about whether you don't want to have a baby or not. Like, there's I don't know the stats is, but I'm pretty sure it's like 5-1. There's plenty other gals you could sleep with that would understand that you don't want no children. She ain't the only gal around you could sleep with that could put you to sleep and you have sex with her. And so therefore, if you choose to sleep with this woman knowing, boy, it could be either child or no child, if it's even a 2% chance that she getting pregnant, you shouldn't be sleeping with her. You don't got nobody to be mad about going to court except yourself, because you couldn't use self-control.
But do we have self-control, Kevin?
No,
Do we
that's
have
which is why I
self-control?
sell sex toys. Because in a hypersexualized society where everything is sexually driven, I'm making money off that.
But again, let's go back to the question before that, right? When we talk about not being ready to have not having the emotional intelligence to say, listen, do I know this person? Do I know this person? Did you plan for this child? Did you plan to have the situation?
We don't.
Okay.
We do not plan for children. And to not plan for children invites poverty. You're like a roach. I just told you that.
Like a roach.
Roaches just as make bunch of more roaches. You ever see a German roach?
No.
If you see one German roach in your house, call the exterminator. You can see 1 million more roaches. Because they just juicing and juicing and juicing and reproducing. And they don't plan that, hey, if I send this child to a private school, the next child that I have, I want to send him to a private school. What it is I like how sex made me feel, so I have sex again. I have this baby, my Grammy will watch her. I have that baby, my next Grammy will watch her. We don't plan to raise kids in this country. And in anything, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail.
Kevin, this is another question. Kevin, from a male perspective, and emotional intelligence, and not being able to emasculate me as a man, how do I say to my woman what it is that I want?
Everything with women is, first of all, not all women are the same. Let me say that. What works for me in my household may not necessarily work for yours. But what I will tell you is that only you know your gal. And only you know how she's going to respond to certain things. It might take you having to go to John Bull and buying some things to butter her up, to prelude what it is you really want to say. Some women, they just dread where you could just spit it out and she could freak out, but she could come down and then she could sit and think on it for a couple of days. And then you have some guys you can't talk to at all. But only you know truly how to speak to her. But there is a way to speak to her. And that's where the emotional intelligence comes into play, because emotional intelligence is in part the ability to communicate effectively. And if you just row and row, if you all just row and row, that ain't communication. That's rowing.
This is another question. What if, Kevin, we can't communicate verbally, but we have very good sex? Are we in a relationship? Do you think that this is a relationship?
It's a very dysfunctional relationship, and that is, if y'all don't fix some things, y'all doomed.
Because my thing is, you can't communicate with me, but we only communicate through sex?
Listen, the biggest problem in this country is we put so much importance on sex. That has pissed me off, you know.
Why?
Because sex, current off. Sex, no gas in the car. Baby catching the children, walking children to school. Sex. Husband, boyfriend, or baby daddy get no job. Sex. I gotta put this man on Facebook to get school supplies. Sex with the same person you just finished round about school supplies. Sex. You see where I'm going with this?
I see.
We put so much emphasis on the sex is not the most important thing in the world. Until we understand that there are more important things than just juicing, we can keep juicing and then keep inviting the systematic problems we have, the emotional, the average is reflected by what we choose.
Okay, this is another question for you, Kevin. Kevin, talk to us about explaining what emasculating a man is.
Emasculating a man is simply making them feeling less than. It's a pretty word for making them feel bad. For people who understand.
Does that woman love you if she emasculates you?
Maybe she doesn't know. A lot of women don't intentionally emasculate men, you know.
What do they
A
do?
lot of women aren't being taught how to understand men. Men are taught how to understand women. We are taught to manipulate them. We are taught to say what they want to hear, which is why I have a problem with a lot of influencers who pander towards broken women. We know what to say to get the likes and the followers. We know what to say to make them feel good, to get our views up. We're manipulative. That is wrong.
But you just said, are you saying to me on national radio that men manipulate women, and you know this to be true?
Consciously, I used to do it before I was married. No much gas I grind. Just off.
Yay!
You know how much women I slept with?
Right.
Just off of words. I used to do this thing where I put all the dollar bills and newspaper and wrap $100 bill over it.
Stocks, because then they thought you advanced to make them dance.
Yep.
Kevin.
And I didn't spend any of it, and I still slept with them.
Still.
Because they thought that I had money.
They thought you had this corn.
But I knew what I was doing.
I want to ask you something, and I probably gonna have to pay for this advertisement, right? But I'm gonna host a podcast, Kevin. Would you come on my?
Sign me up.
Kevin, you'd be a panelist.
Sign me up.
Now, so we're gonna do this.
Sign me up.
Kenny's Corner, Conversations After Dark.
Sign me up.
December 30th, 7 p.m. We're gonna have Kenny's Corner. We're gonna have Conversations After Dark. There will be an opportunity for us to say some words that we probably cannot say on the radio. We have more questions, Kevin.
It cannot be just 1 hour because. The problem is people aren't being educated, and I believe they genuinely do not know.
You think they don't know? But no. Kevin, there's too much information out there for us to not know something. We know how to get a BBL. We know how to get these chiclet-sized teeth.
I don't worry about what is out there. If it's not being put on a plate, I even have squad mates that I gotta hold a hand and say, go sign up and fill this out. This is how we get promoted. Oh, I didn't know that. Bro, you like 40, bro. I shouldn't have to hold your hand to do certain things. But understand there are people, they have to be led in order to do things because they cannot lead themselves, men and women.
We are going to be back. We're going to take a commercial break. This is another Wet Tuesday here at Kenny's Corner. The conversation is tantalizing. It's invigorating. It's something for your mind. It's something to make your relationship go a little bit smoother, or just open up the door to see what your relationship actually is like. Guardian Radio 96.9. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Someone else comes to mind, but when you told me that I was the one, girl, oh, baby, I took every hour and minute, babe, just to make sure that everything's right.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
You do coffee your way. Double shot decaf cappuccino.
Light roast Colombian no milk.
You do vacations your way.
Hiking boots, tent, mountains.
5-star hotels and theater.
And now you can do insurance your way.
Online.
Email.
Chat.
WhatsApp.
Or in branch. For home, car, travel, boat, or business insurance, do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit NUAinsurance.com, call, or stop by a branch today.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Calls 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This program contains mature content and may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah. I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wandered from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly me, and it's me. Sure, how deep is your love? It's your love. It's your love. I really mean to love. 'Cause we live in a fool, yeah, breaking us down, yeah, when they all should let us be. We belong to you, baby.
I believe in you. You believe in me. Ah, boy, those are some songs that have brought us, some lyrics that have brought us through and through time. We are here at Kenny's Corner talking with Kevin Kemp Jr. Kevin is bringing the reality of what a male perspective is. Now, you said something as we were off the air that our older men are feeling our younger men. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about that, Kevin. We still have other texts, but I want you to expand on that for me, please. Go right ahead, Kevin. Well, the mic is yours.
The same way women aren't being taught how to reciprocate, like the blueprint isn't being left for them to do certain things. They prioritize sex. My body is going to get me what I need, and so that's the blueprint they're leaving for their daughters. You have independent, educated women who are still great wives and awesome in bed as well, that are leaving a holistic blueprint for their daughters to follow. That's the ideal woman. She's going to make a great partner. You have some women who just going to be saying, well, I juice for it, so you got to juice for it. Your Grammy was poor, or your Grammy was juicing for it, your mommy juicing for it, you could juice for it. And they believe that. And so the same generational cycle, I call it the hamster wheel of that family. You will follow this hamster wheel. And so with fathers, all the men in this country who have businesses, make millions of dollars, they make hundreds of dollars, they know how to write resumes, they know how to read. I'm not even going to talk about the big things. Little things, bro. Your daughter is supposed to walk on the inside of the street. When somebody comes to the house to pick up your daughter, he is not to toot the horn. He's supposed to go to the door and literally meet you there for that first date, and you size him up and see if... My sister is 20 years old now. She called me and said, Kev, I'm dating this guy. I said, who he is? She knows his officer, so I can find him anyway. Mm-hmm. But she happily gave me the rundown on who he was. And I knew who he was before she knew I knew who he was.
Right.
But it's the level of respect for her brother that she has for me based on the relationship that I've had with her. Guys in the neighborhood, I always talking to them. And that's what I'm talking about. Older men don't talk to younger men on the level where it's going to be meaningful for them to be successful in the long run. You know what old men used to tell me growing up? Now you in grade 10, now you got to start juicing these gals. You got to start doing your thing. They didn't show me how to write, read, make a resume, the importance of college, financial literacy, maturity, go to church, get a belief system, be grounded, the importance of transportation beyond parking up at the beach and taking advantage of somebody's daughter.
Do you think that in some instances, the very man that you do not want, let's just say you have a mommy or daddy, broken home, not broken home, whatever it is, right? But do you think that in some instances, because men long to be accepted by their fathers, that they sometimes become the very man that he is, or that they said that they would not be? The daddy's a schemer, the daddy's a womanizer, and you follow suit. Do you find that is a reciprocal action in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Jesus, Kevin, you didn't even give me a chance to
A lot of men
answer
become the
question.
very thing they despise.
Why?
That's just the way it is. It's always been that way. For me, my grandparents being together taught me that good marriages still exist. They stayed together by choice. Their marriage is broken. Granddaddy cheat, he break the marriage. But there was a desire to fix what was broken. You ever break a glass plate and see, like, this is my favorite plate. I really don't want to throw this plate in the garbage. I'm fixing this plate.
Can you rebound after cheating in a marriage?
Yeah. Yes.
How?
You got to be willing to do the work.
But who have to do this work? That because you
Both
cheat
of
on me and I have to do the
Or
work?
You choose to stay, right?
But I asking you a question. What
And
we
I'm
must do this
telling
work?
you, if I cheat on you, and I literally, I'm sorry. The Bible says you sin daily. You sin. You don't even know you sin.
Kevin, your cheating was intentional. You took this girl out. You all wined and
Hear
dined.
what I said.
You spend our
Hear
money.
what I said.
Tell me.
You cheat. I cheat. You sin knowingly, and you sin unknowingly. Yet, despite how you sin, God don't care about that. He still forgives you regardless.
All right.
Here's where I'm going. If a person cheats on you and you choose to stay within that marriage, you chose to stay. The opportunity to leave literally drop in your lap. They cheat, bye. You ain't going nowhere. So what you can do, you can keep on beating this man until he go in the grave about the time he cheat 40 years ago, or you can move on, fix it, and keep it again.
I Patty, I can keep talking about it.
And then you.
I mean, I can talk about if I feel like if my pressure rise and I feel like if I call and you answer the phone, or you're the Dagyale. I might say something like that. I might.
But ultimately, that's the grave cheating does.
That it digs you.
Yes, that's a consequence. But men have to understand, like if you cheat, you created this now toxic. Listen, the mental recovery phase of cheating on your partner is so deep. I have to grieve
the loss,
the loss of the person that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I love you so much. I'm vulnerable with you. I trusted you.
Mm-hmm.
And the version of you that I had embedded in my soul, you don't look like that to me right now.
No.
And so I had to grieve that loss of that version of you. Then I had to question myself, so I'm grieving what's wrong with me. Then there's a level of what else do I need to do? Like the mental struggle of cheating within the person who is cheated on is in itself a problem. But to work past that and still stay, the person who did the cheating gotta work extra hard to get the person they're grieving back from the grave and rebuild what they have broken, while this person trying to rebuild themselves and rebuild what was broken.
Do you think that last week, right? There were numerous texts, numerous messages. There was one person that said, "Listen, I told my wife what I wanted. She told her best friend. She did not listen to me. Her best friend, in turn, did the things I was asking her to do. So he divorced the wife, and he's now with the best friend." Is it a sex thing that causes you to stray? Is it an emotional intelligence deconnection that causes a man to stray? Is it something that's inherently in you that causes you to cheat as a man?
When I was in training 7 years ago, one of the things that was instilled in us at the prison is integrity is the things that you do when nobody's looking. Integrity is something that cannot be taught, like that have to be in you. You understand what I'm saying? Like people could model it, but there's certain character traits that you have to want for yourself. The ability to say no is so under-cherished, undervalued. The ability to say no. Like to know you could marry a restaurant and say no to the best friend, it takes a strong man to do that. He didn't have to do that. He chose to do that.
He chose to.
He chose to. There's no accident. And I don't care how good the friend look. If you choose to be the friend, you don't got nobody else to blame except yourself.
So tell me something, Kevin. This is a text, right? Because we spoke about cheating. This text reads, Kevin, bro, like stop spitting. You telling too much secrets and you freaking me out at this point. But anyway, let me ask you.
I normally don't speak in favor of women because let me tell you something.
Tell me.
We have women empowerment conferences, clubhouses, fem tea parties, whatever. Women are not at a loss in this country when it comes to power.
It's men.
Men are. I work at the prison. You know the numbers are like?
No.
We have about 60 women and about 1,800 men.
In jail?
Today. Where I work, I can tell you the number tomorrow if you want. But now you tell me with those numbers incarcerated, who needs the power?
Kevin, let me read. Kevin, bro, you spitting the information.
We don't need any more. Not that we don't need any more, but men need it desperately. We need men to help men. We need women to help men. The jail is a reflection of who needs the empowerment in this country.
The jail.
Men are killing men. Women are running away from crime scenes. Men are victims of crime scenes.
Kevin, let me read the rest of the text from the gentleman. Kevin, you spilling all the facts. Kevin, you talking too much. You letting them know exactly what we down with. But let me ask you something, brother. I didn't have a father in the home either, but I had to make a conscious decision to do better.
Right.
I saw this lady that I wanted to date. She worked at my job. I was only a janitress, but I wanted more.
Right.
She was better. She was better than me on paper and in real life. And just like you living on the beach, I wasn't homeless, but I approached her and we worked together. Kevin, bro, talk to these brothers. Let these brothers know this BBLS, because he spelled it out, this BBLS, is not it. You have to find a woman with substance. I can't tell you that I've never wanted to cheat. I can't tell you that I haven't lusted at another woman.
Fair.
But what I will tell you is I'm not putting my life and my wife in jeopardy for anybody.
Because STD is still real.
Man.
Contrary to people believing that Bahamians are impervious to STDs.
Well, I mean, based on the HIV rate and our status in the world,
I sell
we
sex
are right
toys.
up there.
I don't sell condoms.
At all.
No. They don't want them. They just want a toy.
Skin.
Yep.
Skin into with it.
Yep. and whatever happens, our baby, STD, death, don't matter, we don't care. But at the end of the day, he is what I'm talking about when I say you have to make a conscious effort. As a man, you have to want better, not just to get a certain type of woman, but you got to want better for yourself. I always go back to my daughter because she is a child. So if she could get it, I know grown adults could get it. When my daughter says, see, Daddy, I built a castle. She wants my approval about this castle that she built.
Yes.
You know, that's asked me, daughter, do you like it?
If you like it, I like it.
Because you will, if she likes what she did, no outside forces could tell her this is an ugly castle. Meaning, if she likes the way she looks, if she values the importance of education for herself, if she values making money for herself, if she values personal development, if she values herself, you ain't need nobody to tell you nothing for you to feel good about yourself.
Kevin, the arrow is up.
Should I tell you?
Kevin, the arrow is up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have more of this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and get me some paid advertisement. I'm going to speak with my station producer. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to call it Conversations After Dark. December 30th at 7 p.m. Live audience. We're gonna have a conversation. Everybody come out in your pajamas. We're gonna sell tickets. We're gonna go live. We're gonna have the real conversation with some real panelists, with some everyday life challenges, relationships, intimacy, sex, trauma.
Yep.
This has been Kenny's Corner, Guardian 96.9 on a wet Tuesday. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We were lovers. We were lovers. And the best of friends.